Thank you so very much for attending the webinar this morning. My name is Juliet. I'm a shortcuts coach in the Brisbane office, and today's session that I will be running will be Ask an Educator. So the duration of this webinar will take approximately 30 minutes. My microphone is turned on so that everyone else can hear me, but you guys are muted, so I won't actually be able to hear you if you ask any questions. So please make sure that your speakers are turned on so that you can hear this webinar. And so for the questions today, how you'll be asking those is putting that through using the chat box. Okay, so you should have a panel, a webinar panel on your right-hand side screen where the chat box is located, or the question box. So just pop your questions in that area and I'll run through those questions and answer them for you. So in general, the overview for this webinar will be on topics such as the appointment book, the point of sale, any areas of the product setup screen, the reports, if you've got any questions on that, online booking, and the guest app. So if you have any questions on these topics, please raise your hand or pop it in the chat box so that I can go through and answer these and assist you with those questions. So to begin with, we're going to start with the appointment book area. So if anyone has any questions in relation to the appointment book features, could you please pop that information or those questions into the chat box for me? While we're doing that, I'm just going to navigate to the appointment book screen, ready for to answer those questions. Okay, so I've just got a question here about viewing the appointment book. Can we view the appointment book by the week view? So what I will show you is how we can view this appointment book by the week. So what we would need to do, well, there's two options to view this appointment book in a week view. You could either select the employee up the top, okay, by right-clicking on that employee's head. You would then select in the list, for Helena, for example, View Week. Okay, so this will actually display Helena's week, starting from the date that you selected in the appointment book, which was today, Monday the 25th, up until Sunday the 1st of October. So you can actually use your toggles down the bottom as well if you don't want to view this particular range. You can actually move down to the bottom of your screen here and select the day button down the bottom, forward or back, and that will move your week view for that particular date range, 1 day forward and 1 day back. You also have that option for moving it a week down the track, so we could view from Monday the 25th to the Sunday the 1st of October. If I select the week option down the bottom, again, it would move us to Monday the 2nd to view up to the 8th of October. You'll notice to the bottom right there that there is also a weeks option with a drop-down list. So you can actually change this view mode to not only show you 1 week of this employee, but up to 3 weeks of that employee. Okay, it can be a little bit tiny, but there is that option available for you. If you would like to add also or change the employee that you're currently viewing, down the bottom of this screen, you've got the employee icon towards the right. Just select on the employee icon, and then you can either select a new employee by selecting the name of the employee, so Kimberly, for example, or if you would like to display Kimberly and Helena, select the grey tiles next to the names of the employees. The grey tiles will hold your selection, so that therefore you can choose multiples, and now we're currently viewing Helena and Kimberly's appointment book for the week. Okay. To exit out of this view or this mode, just select the Done button down the bottom right-hand corner. Okay, and that takes you back to the current day's appointment book. The other option of you viewing someone's weekly view is if you have an appointment in the system. So I'll just go through and make an appointment. Okay, let's put it in for a shampoo. If you right-click on the appointment and bring up the appointment menu, you'll notice that towards the bottom of this list, you'll have that View Week option as well. Okay, so just by selecting on the View Week option, it will open that mode up to the weekly view for that employee. The other benefit of you using the weekly mode is you can actually create or move appointments within this view. So just as you would generally move an appointment from one column to another in the daily appointment book view, you just select the lighter side of the appointment block, pick it up, and you're able to move it to a different date. Okay. You can also do all other actions in here like expanding that appointment time out as well. Okay. When you right click on the appointment block though, however, in this mode, you only have the option of rescheduling, showing employees, and then deleting. You don't have the confirmation or any other functions that we would generally see on the daily mode. Okay. Excellent. So, do we have any other questions coming through? Okay, so I do have a question here about this little eye symbol now on the top right-hand corner of the appointment block. Okay, so what the eye symbol is referring to is that this client's card is not actually completed yet. So we don't have as much information on this client as what we probably would like to or would deem necessary, okay, for marketing purposes or even just general contact information. So the eye symbol represents that you need to collect more data from this client. So when you check the client through, and then you're managing the client information, either you would go back into the client screen by selecting the main column and selecting your client's icon on that right-hand side panel and opening up the client screen there. Selecting on the client and then selecting the card icon towards the right-hand side panel there. You would then complete this client's information by updating any other details that deem necessary for the business. Okay, so this might mean the mobile number, an email address. You might feel that also a birthday is necessary. Okay. So you would add in those details. You might like to make sure the vendor status in the client's card, again, for your marketing purposes. So make sure that that is all completed. Okay. And when you feel that this information is satisfactory for the business, on the right-hand side, underneath the extra details section, towards the bottom, you'll notice that there is a tick box for card complete. Okay, so you would select that option, save that information. Okay, to exit out of the screen, select Done. And notice on my appointment block now, there is no longer an eye symbol because I have now deemed that this client card is now completed and we require no further information at this point. Okay. Okay, so I've also just had a question here about checking or how do we actually know if there are clients that don't have an email address added to their client card. Okay, so that's a great question. There are two things that you could do in relation to this. What we could do is go into the setup configuration screen. Okay. Okay. Underneath your general configuration tab on the left there, select the general icon. Okay. Now, see this configuration setting in the general setup on the left-hand side, and it mentions prompt for client details every so many days. Okay. So this is a good setting to have switched on if you're trying to collect those email addresses. Okay, so you can turn on one, check for missing details. Okay, so as long as it's not a mandatory, obviously, field, which generally you wouldn't have the email address turned on for that, it will then check for other fields like email addresses, gender, anything that you've set not mandatory in the client form. Okay. You can turn this other option on, recheck existing details, but again, that's an additional setting. It's not necessary for us to prompt us with the, checking for email address or informing us. But we can turn that on to maybe just update, are you still living at this address, or is this your correct email address, could be the question when it's rechecking. Okay, so 30 days, might seem a little bit too consistent, considering that most clients might frequent every 4 to 8 weeks in between that time. So I generally set this recommendation days setting up to either 90 days or prompt you every 90 days to check clients' details, or even 120 days, give that a little bit more time. But it's still going to prompt you to check those client details, i.e. the email address. Okay. So that is one option that you have with checking or prompting you to check that they've got an email address in the system. The other option that you have to prompt you for email addresses or to find out if you've got clients with no email address, okay, is use your marketing tool. Okay, so we would go into your tools section here on the right-hand side panel, select on marketing. Okay, now what we want to know here is we just want to see all clients, for example. Now in my demo database, unfortunately I've only got 2 clients, but we can look at this. You would select on this icon down the bottom left-hand side, clients. Okay, and you would set up any parameters as well. Like you might set that, for example, you only want the clients that frequents often, or you might want just the new clients to check. So you can set any other parameters here before you actually compute the results. But once you select compute down the bottom left-hand or in the middle of the screen down the bottom, what will be displayed is your list of clients, okay, in your database based on those settings. Okay, so what we can do is you can actually save this list into an Excel file, okay, and therefore you can filter any email addresses or clients that don't have an email address, okay. So there is another option, so that then you, by bulk, you can find out how many you might have with and without an email address, and you can follow them up as they come in. Okay. I mean, the other option you have with collecting email addresses or making sure that email addresses are being collected is turning that option on the new client form, or using our customized or our client information forms that are online. So if you have not already got that product as yet, you can speak with customer care about it. And it's an online client form, so that you can actually set the email question up in there, and more likely clients will fill that in and it automatically feeds through your shortcuts. Okay. So I hope that's answered your questions, and how can we make sure, how can we check if they don't have an email address there? Okay. Now, another question here, is it a normal feature to have the client's contact number displayed on the appointment book on the appointment booking screen, or is it a setting to add? Yes, it is a setting that you can turn on and off to display the client's contact details. So if you would like to turn this on or off, okay, select the configuration. Okay. On your left-hand side here, underneath General again, select on your appointment book. Okay. Now, if we're wanting to display the client's contact number on the actual appointment book block, sorry, the general setting, sorry, we needed to jump into. You have this setting here, a checkbox that says display client details. Okay, so that setting must be turned on so that you can see the number displayed on the appointment block in the appointment book screen. Okay, so if you have any questions on that, turning that setting on, just let me know. But to do that, I'll just recap. Underneath Setup, select Configuration. On the left-hand side, select General. Underneath the General tab, select your General icon again, and it's Display Client Details checkbox in that setup area. Okay, excellent. All right, so I've just got a further question on the online client form. Okay, so I can certainly explain this online client form a little bit further for you. So generally, you might have a client form that you have maybe laminated, or you've got a consultation form that it's in paper that you just print off and that you hand to the clients when they arrive to get them to fill those details out for you on paper. What would generally happen is, one, they might not pop the email address in, or two, they might not fill everything out that you need, and three, it is on a paper form, so it takes, sometimes when we're very busy, it takes a while to get that data into your shortcut system because we're needing to rely on our time to then enter that information back to the system. So that's I suppose, a paper form of collecting client information. That is the current way that we're doing that. What we've now got included in some packages are the online client information cards or client information forms. So to access the client information forms, you should have a login to what we call the customer console, so the Shortcuts customer console, which is what I'm displaying on the screen now. Within this console, you'll notice to the right of my screen, client information. Okay. So you can grab a device like an iPad or possibly a Samsung, tablet, anything like that, any smaller device, and you can log into that console using this device. Okay, so you should now see a security pin screen on the display view. So the client information forms are locked down so that it needs or requires a staff member's shortcuts pin to access the client information form. So it is security measured. Okay, so when this screen appears, they would either see their clients in the list that they've got booked for today, okay, or you could search for the client, okay, to get them to fill out this form. You would then select the client entry option on the right-hand side. Okay. Now, if you've organised custom client consultation forms, you would also choose between your form that you would like the client to complete. If you are looking at just the standard online CIC forms, it's the client information form that your client would be completing. Okay. So this is the form that they would fill out. Again, capturing that email address, making sure that we've got all of the updated information, and you could even add extra fields into this form. So you could add address, you could add, are they married, what's their marital status, things like that. So it's up to you what you might add into these forms, but these are, I guess, are the standard required questions for a business. Once the client has completed the details, they would then save that information or update any changes. It locks the client back out, and then the information sends back down into your Shortcuts computer, okay, and updates the client card in your system. Okay, so I hope that has explained a little bit further how the online CIC forms work. Certainly, if you wanted to go further in using that product, we would organise a session with you to run through that setup with you. Okay. Okay, so do we have any further questions on the appointment book today? Okay. Excellent. So what I'm going to do is we're going to move forward. Okay. into our point of sale features. Okay. All right, so please pop through any questions that you have in relation to the point of sale features, and I will run through those with you. Okay, let me just jump down into shortcuts. Excellent. Okay, so here I have a question in relation to utilising, I suppose, retail items from the shelf, but we need to use it in a treatment. So how do we actually track that using a retail item as professional usage and make sure that it keeps our stock up to date, okay, and manages that? All right, so let's go through how we would manage that. So I'm going to go into our main point of sale screen. Okay. So to actually track any of those items that you're using in the, in treatments or in salon that are normally sold as professional stock, come into your point of sale screen, and then the client that you need to select from your client search area, so select on the client icon on the left, is your hashtag business client. Okay. So what we're actually trying to do here is we're still utilising the product. So this product must go through our point of sale, as well to track your stock levels. But we're not selling it to a client, but the client that is using it is the business. Okay, so that's why we're selecting hashtag business as the client utilising or transacting this product. Okay. So once you've got the hashtag business selected as your client up the top here for the transaction, you then just need to either scan your product that you've taken from the shelf to use. Okay, so if you're using a barcode scanner and you're utilizing that function, scan the item into the screen. Otherwise, you can select on the screen and choose your product. Okay. So now notice that this item now in the sale line, my daily facial cleanser, that I would normally sell for $49 to the client, it has no price value assigned to it in the transaction screen. Okay, that's because we're not going to charge a business for using this item that we've taken off the shelf. Okay, so it's going to set the value as 0 for us. So then all we need to do is count this item down from our product or stock levels. You need to select End Sale. Okay, so that has now counted my item down in my product stock level screen. Okay, being used. Okay, excellent. So I hope that explains how we can track and monitor any products that have been taken off the shelf and using it in a treatment. Okay. Okay, so I do have another query here in relation to our discounting, okay, at point of sale. So what are the two buttons or what are the two areas that we can discount in our point of sale screen? A client has asked or a consumer has asked, why is there a discount button, okay, on the transaction screen, and why can we select the discount cell underneath the discount column in the transaction line item area? Okay, so that's a great question. I will bring my transaction, or I'll bring a client into the screen here for a transaction, and I'll add some items in for sale. Okay. Let's add a service item in. Okay. So Notice here how the current price of my style cut dry is $38. Next to that, you have the discount column. So if I was to add a discount or select that cell to apply a discount to this item, okay, so I'm going to select the birthday promotion, which gives me 25% discount. Okay, it will add up the value for that line item only. Okay, so watch if I add in a product, I've applied a 25% discount to my style cut, but if I do add a product item in here, okay, so some gentle cleansing, notice how my item for gentle cleansing gel is $49, but I do not have a discount applied to that item. Okay. If I was to remove the discount from that line item for my style cut, so I'll just clear that discount out. Okay, so therefore I'm now paying full price again for my style cut and for my gentle cleansing gel. If I was to select the discount icon, okay, and if my birthday promotion applies 25% off the product and a service, by selecting the discount button specifically, it will have taken it off the gentle cleansing as well. So let me just configure that so that you can see that change. Okay, so let's recap on that and perform that action again. Okay, so I've cleared out all of my discounts for those two items. If I select the discount button, okay, and select the birthday promotion reason, select done. Okay, it's not updating, so I need to actually step away from shortcuts and restart this. So, but what would actually happen would be the discount would apply to the product itself as well by selecting the discount button. Okay, so the discount applies to the entire sale, where you selecting the cell against the item applies to that item specifically. Okay, excellent. So do we have any further questions on the point of sale screen? Okay, so I do have a question here, how to add a promotion to the list of services. Okay, so if she's advertising a new service on the website and they book it online, okay, is the question, how do I add on that service to the booking section? Okay, so I'd probably have to get more of a clarification on how you're wanting this to occur, because we actually can configure a promotion as such where the discount automatically applies to a service item, or we can obviously configure what we call a discount reason, like we saw in here, the birthday promotion, and that obviously can apply to, you know, your item, but you would manually have to add that discount into the service. Okay, and also in terms of if you're adding a new service on the website, so you've actually created a new service on your website that you want to be available for booking online, we first of all need to obviously add that into your service setup screen. So let's start with that. Let's set up a new service so that you've got that available in your shortcuts to sell. Okay, so to do that, you need to come into your setup screen, select on your services icon. Okay, so if the new service is a part of an existing category, so it might be a part of my styling category, for example, okay, you would need to select on the category that you would like to add it to, and then down the bottom, select new. Okay, enter in the new service name. Okay, And then when you add the new service name, make sure that you add in the blocks for the service. So if that service consists of, for example, a cut, a color, and a finish, each of those 3 items are blocks to that service. So make sure that you set it up and configure it in that sense. If your service, for example, is just a cut, ladies style cut, then the block would generally be just that one block. Okay. So you would add in your block details. So that particular block in that service might take me 30 minutes. Is there a break time before I proceed to the next block? Add that in. And what's the sell price of this particular block? Now, if you put the full sell price here of the service, that is fine. Okay, you can just put it in that first block and that would be the price of the service. Or what you can do if you have several blocks, you can separate them up so that, this block is worth $15, the next block is worth $15, therefore my total service value would add up to $30. Okay, so set the configuration up and then also make sure when you're setting up a service that you assign it towards a reporting category. Okay, so which is this section down below it. Block 1 counts towards. I'm going to assign this to the ladies category because I'm thinking that my service would be a ladies cut. Okay. Once you've completed that and you would like this service to be bookable online, okay, down the bottom towards your left-hand corner there is an options section. There is a checkbox there that says can be booked via web. Okay, so to have this available online through your online booking service, tick that box off and select done. Okay, so there's my new service that I've added in, okay, to my shortcuts. I've added in all of the details and I've ticked that it is available for online booking. Okay, so if you ever need to remove a service from online booking as well, when you're in the service details screen or service setup screen, you can untick it from being bookable on the web just by unticking that checkbox in that web column there. Okay, so that's, I guess, setting up a service that you have now created as a new service on your website, okay, so that it's now available in your shortcuts to sell. Okay, what about adding a promotion to the list of services? So if you would like to add a promotion, so where you've got, let's say, 15% off this service category, your styling service category for this month. And whoever comes in for a styling service will get this promotion. Okay, so it's not restricted down to specifics, clients or targeted clients. So to actually create a promotion for this service category, you can also do it on a service as well, just by selecting the service instead. But I'll set it up for a styling category. Select your promotions icon down the bottom of your screen. Okay, and then select new to create a new promotion for this category. Okay, once your new promotion screen opens up, type in your promotion name. Okay. Okay, you can pop in your discount. So anyone, or your description, sorry, anyone that books in styling service will receive 25% off, let's say, for the month of September. Okay. So pop your description in, and then you need to set the benefit given. So is it a percentage reduction or is it reduced by a specified amount? Do you want to sell it at cost price, or is there a gross margin percentage reduction as well as another option? But my description explains that I'm going to give 25% off, so mine's a percentage reduction, and I enter in 25 into that field there. Okay. You can also assign it to a club member as well. So you can choose if it's general promotion for everyone, or if you are utilising clubs and you only want this discount to be available to your club members, then you can assign it to those members only. Okay, related program means if you have your loyalty or your membership program up and running. All right. So you can also specify on the right hand side as well. Sorry, down the left I should probably explain. Is there a maximum number of sales that you can sell in this promotion? So you only want 30 sold at 25% off. Okay, so you can limit that so that it stops after it's sold its 30th client. On the right hand side, you can specify then, is this available for what days and is it available for certain hours? Okay, so I mentioned that it was for the month of September. Now, because we're already in September and it's coming close to its end, I would just specify a to date, but as you can see, you could choose a date range or you can choose it's available from a date. Okay, so I'm just going to mention that it's available until the 30th of September. All right. You then also have the option of setting your promotion to be available at specific times. Okay, so that might mean that it's not available on Friday or Saturday, but you might specify that on Thursday it's available all day, Wednesday, Tuesday and Monday, etc. Okay, so maybe your less busier days. Okay, and then you can also specify, is that then every week or every first week of the month, second, etc. You do have that option as well. Now make sure that you check off what the discount or whether the discount amount is counting towards any of your employee dollars performance, okay, or business income, okay. Once you've completed your settings, select Done. Okay, now once you've completed that, you'll see this promotion screen appear again, and it has now chosen the promotion that we've just created. Okay, so we would select Done to save that we are now applying this promotion to the styling category. Okay. Now what you may need to do to trigger this to occur, if I remove this client out, is exit your shortcut system and restart it again. I will just check to see if it will work without my exiting for this demonstration. So notice how there is a discount applied. It's highlighted in green to this particular line item because that is a promotion that's currently going and it's automatically taking it off for us. Okay. So as you can see, I didn't have to exit shortcuts. It's just automatically applied that and activated that for me. But if it does not function straight away, just exit your shortcuts and reopen shortcuts for it to activate. Okay. So I hope that has answered your questions in terms of setting up a service and applying a promotion to it. Okay. All right, so now that we've moved into the product section or the product setup screen, what I have here is a question in relation to the current minimum and maximum levels that you see in the product setup screen. Okay, so if I just navigate to the stock section and then select on products, this is your product setup screen here. You probably are familiar with this screen, but my question is, can you explain what the current minimum and maximum levels refer to? Okay, that's great. So if I expand out, let's just expand out the company ASAP for this exercise and demonstration. Okay, so under my company, I have my product lines or ranges, as you might call it. Okay, so if I expand out my cleanse and exfoliate range, you can then see that you've got your list of products within that range. Okay, so and you'll also notice that each item has your buy, your sell, and you have your current maximum and minimum levels, okay, that you can set. So our current levels. Our current levels are what we have currently in stock, what we should have on our shelves that we can either sell or use at this point in time. Okay, so then our maximum levels. So your maximum level is what would you actually like to keep on the shelf as a maximum level. So you would never want to go over that level, okay, but you always want to obviously replenish up to that level, okay, so that you've got that on hand. So that is your maximum level. You then have your minimum levels. So your minimum level would be your lowest stock level for that item that you ever want to reach, okay, before you have to obviously perform your order, okay. So the minimum level also is what, if you're using your ordering system in Shortcuts, it's what will trigger that item to be pulled or populated into your ASAP order, for example, my company order. Okay, so it's when that item falls below that level, it will then populate an order and suggest and recommend that it should order you up to your maximum levels to replenish that. So if my item is currently at 1 for the daily exfoliating scrub, it is below my minimum level. So when I create an order in Shortcuts, the order will populate and it would order me an extra 3 of these product items to get me back up to my maximum level that I require. Okay, so that is how your maximum and your minimum levels work in combination, I guess, as well with your current levels for the ordering. All right, so I hope that has explained that question and query for you and how that works. Okay, so what have we got? Any other questions here? Okay. Right, so I just have a question in regards to removing products from your product search screen or from the product setup screen. Now, you can't actually, I suppose, delete your product items, so they actually can't be deleted as such. So what we need to do is we need to make them inactive so that we can clean up your product screen. Okay, so what we need to do then is you can do it 2 ways. Against your product item, okay, so when you look at your product item details, you have an active column and there's a checkbox within that line. Okay, if I no longer want to stock this daily exfoliating facial scrub, I can then remove that item, okay, by unticking it as being active. Okay, so notice how it's also grayed out that item, so it's made it a darker grey. That item, if I was to refresh my screen, if I go back to done and then go back into products, okay, if I was to refresh this screen, the item is no longer visible in your products setup screen. Okay, so that now has removed your item from being in view and also being included in your stock, okay, ordering and also stock taking. The reason why it is made inactive, in case you do want to start reordering that item again, is a possibility. And also it's for reporting purposes. We still want that name, okay, going back for reporting. But if you ever want to view this item again, underneath or down towards the left-hand corner of your screen, you've got Show Me Inactive. Tick the inactive checkbox, okay. If I open up my cleanse and exfoliating category, there's my item again. Tick that back on, and then therefore my product is now active again. Okay, so I hope that that has answered your question about eliminating the items from your stock takes or your product setup screen, and also for stock as well when you're trying to do your stock controlling. Okay, excellent. So we don't have any further questions on this area here. Okay, yes, we do have one question in relation to why do I see italic, and why do I see bold, okay, or normal font in the product screen? Okay, so I've actually displayed a column called retail column, okay, because that will actually tell me whether my products are retail or professional just by looking at that column against the item. But how else can we tell if we're not displaying that column? Is if I look at one of my professional items, you'll notice that the professional items are italic, okay? So that is what italic refers to and why we see it like that compared to our retail items, which are normal or standard font, not italicized, okay? Excellent. Okay, great. So if we don't have any further questions on that area, let's move into reports. Okay, so let's open up the reports. Okay, sorry, I just have a question come through about just back onto the products. If you're not using a scanner, like a barcode scanner, what is the quickest way to find a product when in the point of sale screen? Okay, that's a great question. The easiest way to find a product, okay, would be to select your F3 key, okay, on your keyboard. So you may have to select also another button rather than just the F3 button on the keyboard. You may have to find a button that says FN. Okay, so take a look and test it. But on my keyboard, I have to hold down my FN button and then I have to select the F3 button. Okay. So when I do that, it brings up this product search screen. So instead of me having to click on the line item, click on product or employee name, click on product, and then click on the actual product item, all I need to do is select F3 and then type in my product. Okay, so you can use keywords in here as well. So I might need to look for a cleanser. I'm looking for this daily facial cleanser. Select the item and select done. Okay, and that would add the item into my screen if it was not a professional item there. I probably chose the wrong one there. Okay, so just going back, it's function F3. Okay, searching for your item there and then selecting the item from that screen, and then that would add the item into your point of sale. Okay, so that's the easiest, quickest way or method. Excellent. Okay, so now some reporting questions. So pop through any of your reporting questions there that you might have on this area. Okay. Okay, great. So I do have a question in relation to saving a report. So how can we save a report to either maybe to a USB device or possibly save it to then email it to your inbox, let's say. All right, so what I would need to do is find or locate my report. Okay, select the view option down the bottom. Okay, choose your parameters as well. So make sure on the left-hand side you choose your options. So is it just, you know, for example, we've got an option to choose an employee only or all. We also have the option in our miscellaneous parameters screen to show the definitions of the report. We can turn that on, but also our date range. So what's our date range for that report? So we can choose a date range or just a specific date. Okay. You also have the choice of choosing some preset ranges on the left-hand side. Okay. So once you've, you can either view that report, okay, and once you're viewing this report, you would then, to save this, export it. Okay, so down the bottom of the screen, you've got an export folder. So select on that folder, choose how you would like the report to be saved, Excel, PDF, etc. Okay, select OK, and then that would open up your computer location drive. So you could then save it into your your C drive. If you've got an external hard drive plugged in, you can save it to that as well. Okay, and then just hit the save button. Okay, so that is saving your report. Okay, so that you can either forward or take it to a USB or an external drive. Okay, so I just have a question as well pop through about how can we, or which report can I use to track my employee performance? Which is the best report for that? Okay, so that's great that you're wanting to look into that. Now, your report that you're probably going to find very useful in giving you results for that information is underneath your employees category on the left. Okay, and you do have the two reports. So you've got your performance summary. Okay, so as we can see, your report definition there is it contains a list of all of your employee performances for a specified date range that you like. It includes the number of clients that they have seen, service and product values, as well as a breakdown of the different type of services done, so the categories. And the average client values for each employee. So what are they on average bringing in? Okay, so this report is what they also can view themselves on the performance screen. Okay, so you could, however, though, bring up a report for a specific date range though. So you can actually filter this report for maybe a week. Your other report to track your performance of your employees is the Performance Summary Extended. Okay, so it's a summary containing employees' performances for a specified date range. Now, the difference between the performance summary, the standard one, and this extended performance summary is when I view this report. Let me just see if I can get some date ranges up there. Okay, this report displays, okay, your productivity for that particular employee. Okay, so unfortunately, it displays the breakdown of your service and your retail performance and sales, and it also breaks down the client tags. So, is the client tagged as a new client, existing client? Okay, so that is a great report to look at to track your employees' performance. Okay. So do we have any further questions on the reports area or screen? Okay, excellent. Okay, so let's look at now our online booking. So what questions might we have in relation to the online booking? So just again, pop those through for me so that I can help answer those. Okay, all right, so I've just had a question here. Can we add a note to my online booking page to tell clients that they need to book a blow dry with their colour service when making that booking? Yes, you certainly can do that. Notice here how on this screenshot, you've got your selected services and employees. We have your step process. So we can actually add a note to this page, okay, that sits above the service selection area. So to do that, to add a note to this page, you need to actually jump into your console. Okay, so if we just open up this console again, you need to jump into your company settings tile. Okay. Now, to add that note to that first page of the online booking, you come down to your service selection text box, okay? So we need to add it into this content here. Now, whether you add it above step one, whether you add it in combination of the step process, or whether you pop it at the bottom here and make it in bold, you can make that bold as well, the content. And you can add, please note that when choosing a colour service, you will need to add or book, you might say, a blow dry service. Okay, so you can create that note how you would like it to be, but that is where you would add that so that it can display on that first service selection page for them to see. Okay, excellent. Okay, so I do have another question in relation to the online booking settings. Currently, my clients can only book the next day online, so they can't book for the current day. But what I would like to happen is for them to be able to book on the same day, but it must be at least 4 hours from the current time that they want to book. Is this possible? Okay, the answer to that question, yes, it is now possible to allow, or to, I suppose, restrict clients in having to at least book 4 hours in advance, but still have them being able to book on the same day that they would like. Okay, so to actually create or change that setting, you need to go back into your online console and open up your Book Me settings tile. Okay, so you'll notice here at the top we have an earliest booking allowed setting. Okay, so to set this so that the client can make the booking on the day, but it must be 4 hours prior to the time that they would like, change the reference to hours in your drop-down list instead of days, and then set the field to be 4. Okay. Now, when you change details in your console, please make sure that you do save those settings. So on the right-hand side panel, you'll always notice that there is a save option there. Okay, so save those changes. Okay. Okay, so I also have a question here that currently their clients can cancel their bookings online. So instead of calling the salon or the business, can we change this so that they can't cancel online? They must call us. Yes, you certainly can change this. Here is obviously, if you are allowing them to cancel online, you can actually change that it must be, maybe 3 days prior to their appointment. Otherwise, they'd have to call you. So you can maybe alter that setting and see how you go. Or down the bottom of the screen in your Book Me settings, notice that there is a checkbox in this other Book Me settings screen to allow client cancellations. So untick that, and that will stop any clients from being able to cancel online, and they must call you regardless of the time in advance. Okay. Excellent. So is there any further questions on the online booking settings? Okay, great. All right, so we will now look at our guest app. Okay, so for those that are not familiar with the guest app, this is now available to you if you'd like to get it in your package. This is like a personal business app for you guys to use and download, and have your clients download this and they can access your business through the guest app. So any questions on the guest app, if you are familiar with this product, please pop them through. If anyone is not familiar with the guest app, please contact customer care at shortcuts.com.au to follow this up and to get this on board. Okay, I do have a question in regards to, can I use my own images in the app? So yes, you can certainly use your own images in the app. To update your images for the guest app, you need to log into your console, so your Shortcuts customer console. Open up your My Salon app tile. Okay. And go into your tiles screen. So on the right-hand side panel, you'll see that there is a tiles tab. Open up the tiles tab, and on the left-hand side, you've got your default tiles and a list of those default tiles, which are each assigned to a default image. Okay, so to change the image, all you need to do is select on the tile, for example, My Appointments, and then select Choose File. that will take you to your desktop of images. You select your image and that will upload the image into that tile. Okay. So I do have another question in regards, is the guest app the same or different from the mobile app? Okay, so your guest app, yes, has now been renamed. So it used to be called My Salon app. It is now called the guest app. Okay, so I hope that clarifies that for you. Okay, so I have a question now in relation to what the clients or what customers of your business will see about your employees through the app. Okay, so your clients or your customers can view the employee pictures, and they can also view a biography about the employees if you add that in. So if I open up the shortcut screen, go into your setup panel by selecting setup, select on employees icon. Okay, so to update, for example, Helena's picture, you need to select the edit button down the bottom. Okay, you'll notice that I can select on picture in this screen. You select the picture and then you would choose your photos, okay, to add for Helena. Okay, so that will update Helena's profile picture that your customers will see on the app. You can also add in the biography about Helena. So, how long has she been here with you? What does she specialize in? What does she love? Okay, so you can make that as creative as you like, okay? And then that is what the clients or your customers will see about your employees in the guest app. Okay, excellent. Okay, so again, just confirming. Okay, so just confirming again, we have a question in relation to the My Salon app. Yes, so if you currently have My Salon app, this is the guest app. So if you currently have your clients downloading My Salon app, that's completely fine. We have just renamed the product for our internal purposes, for your, I suppose, internal use. So if you were to call us about the app, we would refer to it now as My Guest App. But yes, you still ask your clients to download My Salon app or My Barber app, My Beauty app, so on and so forth. So it is still the same. Yes, you don't need to update anything there. Okay, so I hope that has cleared up, that question for you in relation to the names. Okay, excellent. Any further questions on the guest app? Okay. Excellent. So just wrapping up the webinar, so the summary. So we have reviewed questions on the following topics. We've looked at the appointment book, point of sale. We've run through some questions on the product setup screen. Ran through some reports, saving that, and online booking questions and the guest app. Okay, so we ran through a few different questions on each of those topics. Okay, so the Learning Centre. So you will now find that there is a Learning Centre available to you on the Shortcuts website. Okay, so go to our Shortcuts website, home, select into Shortcuts Community, okay, and then select on the tile Learning Centre to access the Learning Centre. The Learning Centre houses all of our most recent e-learning videos, going from basics of how to set up an employee, even to how to create a promotion. Okay, so please visit that site to refer and watch any learning e-tutorials. Okay, now more webinar fun. So again, we will be holding another webinar at the end of next month. So if you would like to register for these webinars, okay, you can go to our Shortcuts homepage and then search for webinars. Okay, so that will bring up any recent or any upcoming webinars for you to register. And if you would like to watch any past webinars, we also have that saved in the webinars library. Okay, so please feel free to go back on any webinars that have been held. Contact us. Okay, so if you would like to contact us, or if you have any questions about this webinar and any further questions on any other areas, please feel free to email education team at education@shortcuts.com.au, or you can contact us on 1300 66 7374. Okay, so thank you very much for attending this session today. I hope you found it very useful. We hope to hold more like this, so it can get you involved in asking your questions that you like to ask, and helping, and then obviously we can help you along the way. Okay, so thanks very much everyone, and I hope you enjoy your day.